Hi, I'm Mike Roth with the Roth Team at Shorewest Realtors. Thanks for joining us on our real estate blog today. Today we're going to talk a little bit about credit scores. We've got John Hugo from the National Bank here to answer some questions about that. We're asked many times questions about our credit score. And John, one of the things we hear a lot about today is how do credit scores really affect a buyer's ability to get financing?
Well, to give you an idea, credit scores come into play more than they ever have, especially since 2008. Lenders look more and more at your credit score. It affects the rate that you're going to get, and it could affect whether you can get financing or not. Conventional financing requires a score of above 620. FHA requires at least 660 right now. And the idea of what I said about interest rates, the best rate I would quote today would be 4% on a 30-year fixed. But that would require a credit score of at least 740 or higher. So that's the highest tier you want to get to. If your score, to give you an example, was between 620 and 660, the rate would be 4.5%, a 0.5% swing. So that's quite a difference.
Still not a bad rate, though.
No, yeah, in today's market.
Exactly. Since I paid 13 3/4 for my first mortgage, 4.5 isn't bad.
We all remember that.
But ideally, you want to get the best rate.
Correct.
You want to have 740 or above. So that brings me to our next question I'm asked. What can an average person do to get their credit score higher, John?
You know, most people realize the negatives that affect their score, right? Late payments that are 30 days late or more on your credit, collections, judgments, bankruptcies are the big negatives. But simple things that we can all do, because people say, well, why isn't my score higher? Really, look at your credit card balances. If you have a $10,000 high credit on your card and your balance is over $5,000, that'll have a negative effect on your score, meaning that you're borrowing more than 50% of the card. A simple thing you could do to try and alleviate that is either transfer part of that balance to a different card, or you could ask your credit card company to increase the limit from $10,000 to $15,000. Say, if you had a $7,000 balance, then your balance is between less than 50% of the high credit. It'll help your score. Another simple don't, sometimes people will come in and say, well, I know I need to pay off these collections. Credit scoring really looks at the most recent history, the last 12 to 24 months. So if you have a smaller collection out there that's 3 years old, don't pay it off. It'll actually hurt your score because the recent activity date will go to current date, and you'll have hurt your score that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, definitely. And a lot of times we get buyers, John, they're concerned about getting their credit checked. Does this, when you're getting financing on a home, does this have a negative effect on your credit score significantly?
I think that used to affect scores more than it does today. People realize that there's going to be inquiries out there, whether you're shopping for a car or shopping for a mortgage. What I try and tell people, so an inquiry is not going to affect your score. What I tell everybody is make sure that every lender you talk to isn't pulling your credit, right? Have one pull it, get your score, get a copy of your credit report as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. But they should obviously get their credit checked before they're going to start looking into buying a home.
Absolutely. One of the things they want to do is be able to see what's out there on their credit so they can address it.
Makes sense. Well, thanks, John. And if you have any questions on credit scores or what you can do to improve that or getting financing, give me a call here at the Roth Team. We'll hook you up with John, and he'll give you your expert opinion. Thanks again for joining us on our blog.
Thank you.